Hello and welcome to Wine and Real Estate. And at the time of this recording, I'm currently in beautiful Costa Rica, Playas del Coco, and I'm joined here by my friend Jean-Michel or JM for his friends, I guess, and family. So Jean-Michel, JM is joining us from beautiful Moncton, New Brunswick. So welcome. JM, can you tell us more about yourself? I think you're a real estate investor and you also sell real estate. So
That's right. Hey, Francois. My name is Jean-Michel. I'm in Moncton, Brunswick, and I'm an investor here. I've been over probably 10 years now. I'm also a realtor in Greater Moncton. And yeah, that's pretty much, what I do. I also have a 2 month newborn at home. They keep me
wow.
busy as well. So yeah, enjoying every minute. So yeah.
That's amazing. Can you maybe give us some insights as to why Moncton? I think people are curious. Moncton, New Brunswick, a lot of people don't even know where it is. My audience is all over Canada and the US. So yeah, what's up with Moncton?
Yeah, for me, the major thing, it's a small town. We're close to water. We're at university. It's well diversified. There's also like a French and English community, which is good.
Yes.
Price for real estate is fairly low, I would say, compared to other provinces, primarily Toronto and Alberta. And I've been here for, like I said, over 15 years now. So it's my hometown. And for me, it's my comfort zone, right? Because I know a lot of people here. I've been investing in the business for many years, and it's all about who you know, right? For an example, if I move from me to Toronto, I don't know anyone. It's kind of hard, to make the right decision, make the right move when you don't have someone on the ground with the knowledge in real estate or whatever the case may be, right?
Yes. And I think Moncton has seen some massive growth since about 2018, 2019, just before the pandemic. I went a few years back and there were like cranes everywhere. It felt like a mini Toronto. So
Mm.
what's going on? Why are people flocking to Moncton?
Yeah, it's crazy. I was actually talking to my cousin, and she is one of the director of the French school in Moncton. And she said, like this year, there's 600 new family registered for the French school. So
Wow.
600 new, people that need a place to stay, place to work. So Moncton is really like booming, right? If I look at the, let's say, residential side, we still have like multiple offers here. I think is, with the high interest rate, a lot of people are looking for a smaller city, which the mortgage can be lower, and the cost of living here is fairly low compared to other provinces. And yeah, no, it's still very strong.
And you have a nice lifestyle. I mean, like you said, you're near water, so you're near the ocean. I think about a 30-minute drive. You can go to Shediac and yeah, maybe tell us more about that nice lifestyle.
Yeah. So Shediac is about, I would say, 15, 20 minutes from Moncton.
Oh
Depends
wow.
where you're at. Yeah.
Where
It's
you
really
are.
close. There's a beach called Parley Beach. So it's one of the most popular beach around. There's probably five or six. And it would just like align the coast there. And it's very popular, a lot of attractions, especially in summertime. I do have a lot of clients that invest into like Airbnb, especially around like Parley Beach, Shediac, Bouctouche, Shediac River, Kokang, all those little places, because it's very like super in demand in summer times. We have a lot of like people from Quebec, Ontario, Nova Scotia, PEI, coming over for a week or so just to enjoy the nice weather and the beach here.
That's awesome. So you could enjoy, first of all, in Moncton, let's say you're not well, you could be an investor, but let's say it's for yourself. You could buy a house for a decent price. And then if you want to hit the beach during the summer, you can. Beautiful ocean,
Mm-hmm.
the Atlantic Ocean, very close by. And you have a lot of conveniences too. Moncton, I stayed there for a few weeks. You have Costco, of course, you've got several Walmarts and all the big box stores and a big mall and
Yeah, no,
Amazon as well.
Moncton really have been booming the last couple of years. And for an example, like what I've been doing for myself is I do have a cottage on the water close to Shediac. And when I go on my Airbnb, I can like time block or block
Yeah.
the week I want to go, and everything else in between during the season it's rented, right? So it's that perfect blend of be able to enjoy a cottage, enjoying your time with some family, some friends, and recharging, and also making some money as an income property as well. So it's a win-win.
And in Moncton, many homes have a basement apartment or like a secondary suite, an
Yeah.
in-law suite. It seems very common. Like I'm originally from Ottawa, that's not as common. Moncton, it seemed like especially the nicer homes, all of them seem to have a granny suite or
Yeah, or the
something like
option of having an in-law. If you look at all the properties, I would say around University of Moncton, I would say probably like 80% do have an in-law suite in the
that. Yeah.
basement. It's just the fact that they're so close to university. A lot of students are looking just for a little one-bedroom, little bachelor, just to stay for a week or 2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years. And that's kind of like the perfect location for those students. So.
Yeah, that's so the fundamentals of the city are really good as well. Like you said, there's the university. It's the French university, Université de Moncton,
That's in
and
Moncton, yeah.
then there's a small English one. I think it's like a private Christian
There's 2 or
university or
3.
something.
There's like a Crandall. There's also like aesthetic one. There's it's called NBCC. It's like Community College of New Brunswick. So there's a
Okay.
French one and an English one. Personally, my main focus as far as investments always have been around university.
Yes.
It's just because, yeah, that's what I like students.
Yeah, well, that's it. Can you tell us more about that? Like why
Because
should you pick
students,
students?
I would say reason number one, it's because they have student loan. Most of them,
Yes.
right? So money, the rent is not an issue. And if it's an issue, mom and dad is always not too far.
Yeah,
Right? Which is
you're
good.
right.
Number two is they're gone most of the time. Like summertime, so let's university ends in April. So March, April, May, June, July, August. It's basically 4 months that your unit is vacant. Right?
Yes. So you
And
could flip and do
it's a
something else.
one-year lease, right? Right.
Okay.
So, and number three, students, they're not, they don't know the rules too much, I would say, right? So for an example, if there's a party or there's something, hey, listen, next party, you're out. And they're
Yeah.
just freaking out. Just, okay, no, please, right? But the thing is, if you're like 55, 60, and you work, for an example, at minimum wage, and you know all the rules, oh, you can kick me out because it's winter, you can do this because of that, you have to give me a letter of notice, you can give, so
Professional
sometimes,
tenant.
yeah, exactly. So that's why I've been focusing on student. They've been treating me well for the last 10 years. So
Amazing. And then if an investor would like to start investing in Moncton, you said maybe look around the university. Do you have a certain like price point people can expect if I don't know, per door or a sixplex or something?
yeah, I would say around University of Moncton or the hospital, French and English, they're all in the same area, right? So obviously, if you're trying to buy in that neighborhood, it's going to be more expensive.
Yes.
Also easier to rent, right? Every time I have an apartment for rent, within 12 hours, it's rented with the deposit done.
Whoa. Okay, that's quick.
Yeah. And if I look at, let's say, a property in Dieppe, which is more like a high-end one, that's
Yeah.
$2,300-$2,400 a month. That takes about like a month to rent.
Okay,
Right?
much longer vacancy.
Much
It's
longer,
still
less
very
rent.
decent, but it's longer.
Yeah, no, exactly. And yeah.
Okay, and then so you're investing in your own town or city, and now you sell real estate as well. So for people that need some guidance, why should they work with you, JM? I'll put you on the spot.
That's it. That's all right. No, for me, to be honest with you, I've been investing, like I said, for a couple of years, and I was in the investor shoes for a while. Let's say the last 2-3 years, and I know about 35 to 50 realtors in town, and they were all reaching to me. Hey, Jean-Michel, I got a pocket listing. I got a 6. I got a 12. I got a duplex. I got a triplex. What do you think? And they were sending me those numbers. So what I was doing is we're looking at numbers in my spreadsheet. I was like, it makes no sense. Like,
Yeah.
numbers just like you're losing money. We're just breaking even every month. And 2-3 days down the road, they were reaching out to me, say, "Hey, Jean-Michel, what do you think?" And they're like, "Yeah, numbers makes no sense." And they were like,
No.
"Yeah, I know." And I'm like, "Well, why did you send it to me?" Right? It
Yeah.
just, and one realtor, only one in town that I went for a viewing. We walk in, about 30-second in, he's like, "Okay, we're done." And I'm like, "Wait,
Wow.
what do you mean?" He's like, "Well, look at this, look at that, this, that." I was like, "No, I'm gonna be able to find you something better." And I'm like,
Okay. An
wow, he's
honest
actually
guy.
working for me, not working for his own commission, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like my goal, right? To kind of focus on the people, not on the commission. People's gonna come, no matter what, right?
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, there's a lot of realtors in town, but a lot of realtors that are focusing on the wrong thing.
Yes, I know. And it is a small city. People, like you said at the beginning, everybody knows each other. So you got to be careful. Usually they know the seller and the owner and buyer. And yeah, and if you're coming from Toronto or Vancouver, you need someone who's inside this kind of bubble to understand and navigate New Brunswick and Moncton. So can you tell us more about the tenant laws? You spoke about students. That's great. You can scare them into good behavior. And then long-term rentals, that's still a big thing for a lot of people. That's most of the market still in Moncton.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can tell us more about how that works and if you know the differences.
Yeah, well, the rental's been here a little easier than the one that's in Quebec or in Ottawa or Toronto.
Yes.
Here, for an example, it's a 1-year lease. And let's say if someone is late on the rent, we have to give a letter on the third day, then a second letter on the 14th. And by the 21, the tenant is out. And then you have 7 days to rent it again to the next tenant. And then you keep the deposit. So really, there's no, like, if you do your due diligence and you do all like the right step, there's no way to kind of lose money, right?
Yeah, that's
Uh,
amazing.
yeah, yeah, and also for increase now, it's changed. It used to be 3 months of notice for increasing. Now it's 6 months, so it's a little bit more. I increase every year. Every year I
Yeah,
increase 5%. It's just the cost of living, inflation, the cost of, like, just the garbage bin is more expensive, the insurance is more expensive, the taxes are more expensive. So yeah, 5%. I think that's my that we might increase every year. So nothing crazy, but also, because the thing is, there's you can't increase more than a certain percentage per year, right? So let's
yes.
say, for example, if the tenant is paying like $800 per month for a 2-bedroom, you can't be like, hey, next month or in 6 months it's going to be 1,600.
Yeah,
Right?
double, okay. No, and that's
Yeah.
what made the news. A lot of people came in, bought buildings, and then doubled and quadrupled rent, and it's what brought those rules. But if you're, like you said, you're consistent every year, you're putting in those increases, and of course maintaining your properties. I've seen pictures of your properties and they're spoiled, your tenants. Everything's
Mhm.
nice and clean and really refreshed and renovated. So
Mhm.
is there a lot of space for value add? A lot of people want to buy a place, fix it up and refinance or something. Is that still doable in 2023?
It's getting harder, to be honest, because the thing is, let's say if I am an owner and I own a 6 units, right? Then I'm going to call the realtor, "Hey, Jean-Michel, I want to sell my 12 units," right?
Yeah.
Then say, "Okay, Mr. Customer, your 12 worth X amount." And he's going to be like, "Well, Jean-Michel, like 6 months ago, my neighbor sold for X amount. So why I'm not able to get the same?" Right?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like, if you look at
Interest
comparables
rates.
6 months, a year ago, when the rate was so low, numbers today makes no sense. But at the same time, the owner says, "I'm only going to sell it if I can get X."
Yeah.
Right? So value add right now, it's very hard. A lot of investors have been focusing on like flips. So buying a
Okay.
property that needs some repairs, hire the right guy, the right company, the right trade in place, then resell it. I do have a couple investors that do that. I also have a couple investors. For an example, if the numbers makes no sense, they partner up a couple investors together. So, for an example, if the investment is $1 million for I don't know, for a 12, for an example. So they have, let's say, 4 partners with $250,000 each, and they buy the property cash, right? So
Oh
instead
yeah,
of
so no interest.
paying 7 or 8% interest rates, they're paying themselves, right? So they're their own bank.
Yeah, that's very smart. Wow, good point. Like you said, syndication. They can use registered funds as well. That's one way to do it. If you don't have that kind
Yeah.
of liquid cash, I'm sure that's something they do. Lines of credit, not so much because you're going to be paying that 7, 8, 9% interest, so it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't add up. But oh, great point. Yeah, some syndication, flips. And it's still stable. I mean, the unemployment's very low, I think, in Moncton as well. Lots of jobs, lots of new businesses too, lots of
Yeah.
high tech and Ziep opening up. And what's
Yeah.
driving the growth in Moncton other than people looking for lower cost of living? Is there something else?
Well, Moncton really have been booming the last couple of years. Like you said, like new businesses, new infrastructure in place. The demand is insane. There's a lot of new build in town, like currently under like building. But the thing is, there's a lot of like A class, like units that is going to be 22, 25, 28, $3,000 a month. But if you look at the average people in
Yeah,
Moncton, um, they're able to afford like 16, 17, max 18 a month. So anything above that,
it's high
uh,
end.
it's harder to rent. Like it's still fully booked, but it's just harder, right? So for me, my main focus have been like B class, B plus,
Yeah.
to have like nice apartment, but just not too nice, right? Because I do have some newer one, and the more money they spend every month, sometimes the more picky they are, right?
Yes, that is a double-edged sword.
So they expect to be like 100%, right? Sometimes I get phone calls, hey, Jean-Michel, when the light comes by the right windows, like if I look at the walls, like there's like something here from the paint, like, and I'm like, yeah,
Wow. And you're
maybe.
renting.
This is like buildings are moving, right? Especially when they're new in the first couple of years, right? So,
Yeah, they
uh,
settle.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah.
Wow. Yes, I did experience that myself too in Ottawa. I bought in a higher end area. I'm like, oh, we're gonna attract professionals. Wow, people found like scratches in a closet, the closet ceiling. Don't look at it. Put some clothes in your closet. Don't look. Sorry, it doesn't make sense. All kinds of things. The door, the refrigerator door handle. There's a light little scratch at the bottom.
Mm.
Anyway, getting very picky. So good point there. Stay maybe more kind of B class, like you said, something nice, clean, decent. And also, if the economy goes down, people that have more money will go to B class.
This A class going to go down,
And
yeah, to the B class, and the
that's
B
it.
class, the C class,
You're
yeah.
right at the top. You're the most prone to some kind of danger. Oh, there's some
Mm.
birds fighting here in Costa Rica in my window.
And one of the major shift in Moncton here is the cost of the hotel. I'm not sure in
Yes.
Ottawa or Toronto, but here it's going crazy. So a lot of investors, what they're doing now, they're looking for properties like more like downtown.
Okay.
And you look at the cost per night of an hotel. So for an example, if the cost is to 150 a day or a night, what they do is they basically just, hey, I have an Airbnb that is $25 less per day, right?
Okay.
And those
Just
guys are
below.
book solid. As long as you're like just a couple dollars cheaper than most hotel, you're gonna be book solid every year.
And Airbnb is allowed. Do you need a permit or
Nope.
no? Wow. Okay, that's crazy. So everybody pay attention because Ottawa, you need permitting, licensing, most of Ontario now as well.
Yeah.
And it's not even allowed for the most part. It's got to be your principal residence in a
Oh wow.
basement. Can't have a second kitchen, and the list goes on and on. So Moncton, huge opportunities for Airbnb, and it's a hot tourist spot as well. Moncton, lots of people during summer go there to see the ocean and different things. But I guess during winter and other seasons, it's probably business people traveling.
More business. Yeah. Yeah. Or
And you have an
sometimes, for
airport.
example, if like the fact that we're so close to water, right? Sometimes if there's a Fiona hurricane or there's a flood somehow or somewhere, right? Those people need to stay somewhere, right? Like
Yeah.
my cottage was booked solid for like a couple months just because the person had a flood at his place. and
Oh
the
wow.
instance of paying for my Airbnb.
Nice. Okay, that's another great
Hmm.
tip is you could rent people that have gone through some sort of disaster and they're claiming their insurance and they need kind of a midterm rental then if it's a few months
Yeah,
furnished
usually
and everything.
4 months turnover.
Okay,
Mhm.
amazing. And since this is wine and real estate, I heard there's some good wine in Moncton. What's the wine scene like?
There's one here, Magnetic Hill. It's in Moncton, but it's like a little further up on the city. They're making their own little local wine. It's very well known. They're selling pretty much all over Canada. Uh, and there's also a nice setup. Like you can go over, have like just like those little sample, try it. Have some snacks. There's nice little view, and they just do a great job as far as repairing the property. So it's a nice spot. So it's Magnetic Hill Winery in Moncton.
Very good. Yes, I've bought some when I was there and delicious. You have rosé and more cool climate wine, obviously, but
Hmm.
it was quite a nice experience. And again, it makes for a nice lifestyle. The city of Moncton has university, is higher education, hospitals, got lots of jobs, lower cost of living, no Airbnb laws right now, so you can rent out Airbnb, VRBO, Booking.com, compete with the hotels. And yeah, hotels are getting nuts around North America, not around the world. I just came back from Dubai. I rented this nice place, $76 a night, really nice hotel in downtown Dubai. That was crazy. I'm like, in Canada, that would be 300 a night or more, like probably way more. So opportunities are huge, and you have all the banks as well. A lot of people don't know, but you have all the Canadian banks in New Brunswick, so it's
Hmm.
easy to get financing. You even have some great credit unions. I don't know if you deal with your local credit unions.
I did, yeah, I did once. They're
Okay.
very good, especially when you're local or when you want to invest. They're more flexible, I would say, to just a
Yes.
standard normal bank. They would do some stuff kind of outside the box if the deal makes sense, especially on those like 4 or 5 like commercial but
The
not
gray
properties.
zone.
They're very good.
Yeah, and really decent fees, good services. I've worked with, I think they changed names. What was it called? Advanced Savings. They rebranded late recently, but they were excellent, great service. And like you said, more flexible. We started a new corporation and they just said, oh yeah, the deal makes sense. Here it is. And it was super easy. Almost no penalty to break the mortgage either.
Mm,
Very simple. There's no mortgage broker there. Like you need to go direct though. So you might need some in-person or video calls, but
yeah.
another great resource to invest in Moncton.
Yeah, and I do have some contacts. So let's say if you guys are listening and you want some names at Credit Union, I do have some information. I also surround
Good.
myself with the professional in the business, right? Like I said, I've been here for so long. I do have
Yeah.
like a mortgage broker on my team. I have a lawyer. I have like insurance. I have like a trade. I have a plumber, electrician. I have like all those guys, and that's the thing. Like sometimes, like when there's an emergency, or if you have an apartment and something happened, you need to act quick. And sometimes like all the trade is going up, right? It's very hard to have
Yeah.
a good plumber like it's going to show up the next day, or if it's going to show up, it's going to be crazy expensive, right? So if you do have those good on the ground, you have connections, you have knowledge. For me, that's why I've been investing in Moncton, right? It's just because I have that power here that I don't have at other places.
No, that's it. It makes sense. You've built your network over several years and there is a labor shortage in Moncton. So it's important to know people and have those contacts because when I first started out, it was really rough and it was
Yeah.
hard to get anybody to call back. And now, okay, I've built a network like you have, Jean-Michel, and makes a lot of sense. So if my listeners want
Yeah.
to find
I
out
would
more
I
and
would say
see,
like
oh,
80% of the trades right now are baby boomer. Right?
yes,
And baby boomer that was retired that decided to come back on the market just because the demand is so high, right? But in
yeah,
15 years, when the baby boomer is not going to be able to work anymore, is going to be a high demand in trades, right? So what's going to happen is when the demand is high, the price go up. So what I'm seeing in 15, 20 years is that real estate is going to be crazy expensive just because the cost of the bill is going to be insane, right? I feel
Yes.
personally always that think that the trade of today is going to be the doctors of tomorrow, right?
Almost. Yeah, you're right. They're earning a lot. And again, an opportunity because right now in other provinces, it's the opposite. I read like in Ontario, trades are being laid off. So New Brunswick is calling. I'm going to use Alberta's wording. Alberta has a shortage of trade. New Brunswick, Ontario, not really. I read in the newspapers recently, a lot of people are losing their jobs in different
Wow.
fields, and there's
Yeah.
not enough work because of this big slowdown. So it depends what. I mean, obviously, some jobs are still crazy high demands, but more kind of multi trades, jacks of all trades. You can go to New Brunswick and set up a business and do quite well and enjoy
Mm-hmm.
this nice lifestyle. Maybe even make it seasonal, like leave winter and come to Costa Rica, do the work during the summer when it's nice.
Yeah.
There's many
The
ways
pace,
to do
like
it.
the pace here is definitely like slower. Like if you used
Yeah.
to be Ottawa, Toronto, like go. In Moncton, it's like one notch above. Like it's like people are more easygoing. It's more like slow. Everything takes more times. But
It does, but it's friendly. It's the people are nice and welcoming, and
yeah,
it's a nice
yeah,
culture. And you can see it, the streets. I mean, you're not jammed with traffic and high stress. And there's a
yeah.
few places where maybe you're backed up one traffic light, not like 8 or 10. And yeah, there's no like jammed highway, nothing like that.
There's traffics between let's say 7:30 and 8:30, and 4:30 and 5:30. But between
That's
that,
it.
highways are just regular street, like saying like downtown. It's not crazy. If there's a concert or whatever, yeah, it's normal.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's very good. You don't
Wow.
have to wait like 2 hours or drive 2 hours to get to work here. It's 15 minutes, 10 minutes max, and then
That's amazing. Tons of biking trails, and it's a beautiful place. Very clean too. Lots of nature as well. If you're a nature enthusiast, lots of big parks and forests very close by, and yeah, like we said, the ocean and so many things. So Jean-Michel, if my listeners want to find out more about the Moncton market, they'd like to buy with you. What's the best way to get a hold of you?
The fastest way will be on my cell phone, and my phone number will be 1-506-380-2515, or by email at jmbosse@exitmoncton.ca.
Excellent. Thank
I'm
you so
also
much, Jean-Michel.
on Facebook or Instagram. So
Yes, is it the same handle, Jean-Michel or JM Bossé on Facebook? And
it's the same. Yeah,
okay,
exactly the same. So
perfect. Check it out. Jean-Michel does some great videos from his car as well. Like, hey, I found this, or there's that going on. So you have to follow him and find out more. Moncton's a really nice, special place, and it's worth a call. So it was a pleasure, Jean-Michel. I hope we can catch up again in a little while and see what's new, and if you have a baby number 2
yeah,
or baby number 1 is
yeah,
walking, and see how life is. Thank you.
awesome. Thank you so much, Francois. Have
My
a great day.
pleasure. Cheers.